Hello, in this video we're going to be looking at two different solos, one which is very generic and one which has a lot more personal style, so let's have a look. Okay, so what do we have in this first solo? It starts with a very generic bend. Sounds cool, but it's been done a lot of times before. Then we have a pentatonic rundown. Kind of boring, but then nice. So what that does is it leaves a bit of space, which is pretty good. Then we have just quite a generic run up with the scale, E minor scale. Sliding up to get into position for this bluesy lick. And all picked. And then finishing off with the just 15, 14, 12. And bending up to the root. So nothing really unusual there, nothing wrong, but nothing exciting. Right, so let's break down the cool solo. So this one starts on a bend up to the 9th, which is a cool tension, and then goes down to a 5th, which is standard. Plays around with a flat 6. And then goes to a B and a D over the C chord, which is a major 7 and a major 9. But also, it's an interesting change of texture because you've got a single note. So already you've got a bit of ear candy, it's like a different sound to keep things interesting. And then over the A chord, this would be a Dorian scale, so A minor with an F sharp instead of an F. But here we're going to use an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, a bit of a mouthful, but it is just these notes. F, A, B and C, and E. So this is in first position, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, and we're using that very aggressively, so giving a wicked vibrato on the A, and then some palm muting, just sound even more aggressive and more cool. So 3 different textures already, so we've got single notes, doubles, and then palm muted. Really interesting for the ear. Then this then slides up to F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio shape 4, which is here. And the purpose of this is basically to buy time to lead into the D sharp on that diminished chord. So here, and also change to the neck pickup because we've got bridge pickup, very biting, up to smooth, again leading into what will be this. That could work with the bridge pickup, but because we've already used it to really dig into the early part of the solo, I wanted to change into a smooth sound. So, leading into that D sharp, so B Phrygian dominant, and we've got a nice little lick, and this is a trick that Martin Friedman uses in the Blood of Heroes solo. Takes a diminished idea and then just moves it up 3 frets and 3 frets. Here we go in 2 steps of that, so that'll be 5 frets. Now there's a note here which is F, which isn't in the scale, but it's fine because it's fairly quick. Can't really hear anything wrong, and even if you could, it just sounds a bit different because it's something slightly different. So then ending up on that phrase, and then I deliberately chose not to do a bend on the end of it, but to give some tension, what I did was kept that, and then used the notes E, C and B. Nice clash, so there's tension at the end, but it's not a bend, just and if you've got a tremolo bar or system, you can wiggle that as well. So all those ideas added together gives a much more interesting structure, texture, and lots of changes in there. So those are conscious decisions. So things for my style, which I like to do, is I like that Dorian sound on the pentatonic. So that falls quite nicely with the fingers. And then these shapes. I like these little boxes that you can move. So here, move the box, and then bending up to the ninth is something I like to do a lot. It's got nice tension. So with all of those things added together, conscious decisions to make something different that's not natural minor pentatonic blues. Let's rate both of these solos. So the first one, technique, I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Not legendary level, but pretty solid, consistent, and nothing really wrong with it, so pretty solid. Personal style, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10. Quite generic. Start off with some basic pentatonic blues bends, and then what was nice was the waiting for that note to hold out before doing the run, so that's basically where the marks are. Generic run up, and then just some shreds, so nothing really that exciting about that. Structure, I'm going to give it a 5. Started off high and then went down, then came up, so there was a bit of a movement in that, but again, nothing that exciting. And then harmonic content, I'm going to give this one a 3. Basically, the pentatonic, very basic, and then using the natural minor, nothing really exciting there. Using the blues scale gives a bit of interest, and then there's technically a bit of Dorian there. But really that's just because it was 15, 14, 12. Not very exciting. So that is 18 out of 40. Let's do the improved solo. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 for technique. Pretty similar to the last one, but just by digging into the notes a bit more and then palm muting, give some more textures, and then being more aware of neck pickup and bridge pickup, it just lifts it a little bit on that. Personal style, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 as well. Using the chord extensions, clear knowledge of the 9th and then major 7th and 9th, then using the harmonic, the Dorian scale, the A minor chord and then the harmonic minor, and following that in the chords. So good work on that one. Structure, 8 out of 10 again. Obviously it finishes higher up, but it didn't start too high on here, went down and then gradually built up. So better structure on that one. And then harmonic content, 8 out of 10 for this one. So following the natural minor, using the major 7 sound of the C, the minor 6 sound on the A minor chord, then by using the Phrygian dominant for the harmonic minor, clearly following all the chords and pulling out the flavours of those chords. So I'll give this one a 32 out of 40. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative and it gave you some things to think about in your own playing. I have some coaching available. You can find me on School and Patreon. Links below. Thanks.